Yeah, I understand we had gusting over 60 miles per hour at Tampa International Airport, TPA, which by just because of all this going on last night shut down around 5 o'clock. It was this morning at 10:30 that Orlando International shut down. So getting out of here was very difficult for a lot of people. People were driving out, long lines on 275, 75, I-4, all trying to get out of Tampa Bay. And of course, we wake up this morning, Tampa Bay is well below where it should be, to the tune of 6 or 7 feet below where it was just yesterday. Amazing to see Tampa Bay and people walking on the bay floor off of Bayshore Boulevard. Also, power issues are persisting here. It was just in the last maybe 10 or 15 minutes over in Hyde Park from where I'm standing right now, just across the Hillsborough River in Hyde Park. You're seeing those big flashes of green and purple and blue, whether they're transformers blowing or they're power lines coming down. It's all bad news when it comes to the power infrastructure here in Tampa, Florida. Of course, it's very dangerous to deal with downed lines, and it was downed lines that actually set 3 structures on fire today. We believe there were 3 homes. People had to call 911. Their homes caught fire. Luckily, Tampa Fire was able to get to them, put those fires out, and understand there were no injuries or deaths associated with that. Thank goodness for that. But I know the people down south of us have been dealing with so much today. If you've been watching the Weather Channel all day long, you saw Jim Cantore, you saw Stephanie Abrams, you saw Mike Seidel out there in the thick of it as the storm was coming ashore and managing those extraordinary winds that were coming with it as Hurricane Ian continues to push off to the northeast. As far as Tampa Bay and as far as getting all that water in, that offshore flow that pushed all the water out into the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to teeter around for the rest of the night and not really let that water back in until sometime tomorrow morning. What basically is happening as we go to Paul Goodloe in St. Petersburg. And Paul, just south of you in St. Petersburg is the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. All that water went right into that bridge out into the Gulf of Mexico. We need these winds to die down.
Yeah, okay. I think we lost your microphone there, Justin, but I do understand what you're talking about. I'm also here in the Tampa area in St. Petersburg. Again, Tampa Bay is the water. Tampa is a city. St. Petersburg is also a city, and we're closer to the Gulf of Mexico, where the bay waters have been running on out with this northeasterly wind all day long. Behind me, you might see the blinking red and green lights. That's an airport. That's Albert Whitted Field there, and they've been recording strong northeast winds all day long. Just 2 hours ago, they're gusting over 77 miles per hour, now gusting well over 60, but sustained winds have been the tropical storm force all day long, and that direction of the wind has physically taken the water and pushed it out of Tampa Bay. But again, as the winds kind of change direction, some of this water will be sloshing back in also with the tide. So the timing of that kind of the wind eases off the water and the water comes back with that gravity pull. It could cause some flooding. That's not the major concern. The major ongoing concern overnight is what's falling from the sky here. The airport across this little inlet from me, we're talking over 2.5 inches of rain already. And we had huge thunderstorms in the Tampa, St. Pete metro area last night. And some areas got 2 to 5 inches of rain. So the concern is we could see those heavier bands causing those flash flooding emergencies off to our south slowly start rotating this way, because from the center, we're about 60, 70 miles from the center of Ian as it slowly winds down. But again, there's no brakes on this thing. The winds will feel, which is well over the tropical storm force winds, over 350 miles in each direction here. So it's still a very broad wind field, and we'll still get buffeted by very strong winds as we head throughout this night and into tomorrow. We do expect to see the rain stop overnight, or as we head towards tomorrow, I should say, and the winds slowly wind down. So perhaps gusting 30, 40 versus 67. That's an improvement. But once that rain starts to slide out, then we'll start assessing the damage. The good news is, as I look around St. Pete, another gust of wind is coming this way. I'm seeing a lot of lights still on. So that's one of the biggest creature comforts that we have not lost here, at least the St. Petersburg area. There are some sporadic power outages, but not a wholesale like our neighbors to the south. But Dr. Knapp, again, that freshwater flooding, those flash flood emergencies keep climbing closer to the Tampa St. Pete metro area.
Yes, and flash flood emergencies are a really high-end, serious, community-wide, life-threatening rain-induced flood situation that is unfortunately overlapping with where we've got the strong winds of our hurricane. And so let's break down where this is. So here's Venice and Englewood near the coastline there, getting from Charlotte and the Sarasota counties. And then you've got Arcadia and Sebring well inland, and this is all on the northwestern half of Ian. So there's the center of circulation in there, but this whole part of the system has been the rainiest part. And this is a catastrophic threat from rain-induced flooding. We've had more than a foot in many places, and we've had more than 1.5 feet near the coast, and this is just getting added to. And just in the next 3 or 4 hours, we could have another 3 to 6 to 8 inches in some of these spots. So it is really, really going to get life-threatening more and more, as we don't just have water-covered roads, and hopefully nobody's out on the roads, but we could get water, filling up communities and threatening structures. And again, this is largely overlapping. So here's the flash flood emergency right here. But then you've got the extreme wind warning here that's in effect until 9:30. So in this overlapping zone right in here that I've highlighted in red, that's where you've got both the flash flood emergency and the extreme wind warning. Now, the flash flood emergency, the call to action is don't go outside, don't go on the roads unless your life is threatened. And in that case, you got to call 911. But again, help might not be able to come. So you just need to stay as high as you can, go up higher in your home, but don't go up so high in the flash flood emergency that you get trapped in your attic unless you got an axe to get out of there or something like that. So go as high as you safely can if you're flooding. But you don't want to go out into the elements. You don't want to go drive through flash flood emergency to flee. That will just put you into greater danger in a vehicle. But if you're in also the flash flood emergency, you don't want to go outside. So in the flash flood in the extreme wind warning, it's lowest level, most interior room. You're sheltering from the wind, right? But if you've got both, then it's lowest dry level, most interior room. Don't go down into the water, but go up, but don't go so far up that you get close to the roof and the outside of your structure. So that is a very dangerous situation. And this rain-induced flood problem is going to get worse. We've got flood warnings now up in the Orlando, Daytona areas. And Chris, that is going to become a bigger problem where this rainfall from Sarasota northeastward is headed.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what it's like in Wauchula and Arcadia right now, especially at night. The sound of the wind, guys, it's terrifying. Not so much here in Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, but interior sections away from the coast. I hope you made the right preparations. You're probably without power. You guys got a long night ahead. The winds are still howling here. We're in Lakewood Ranch. It's right east of Sarasota and also east of Bradenton. The city has done well, and a lot of the power lines here are actually underground, and we haven't had any issues with power. The whole streetscape. In fact, Marshall, if you can pan down here, you can see the street lights. You can see a lot of the palm trees lit up, and similar story down here. But you look up and you see the winds. They're still fierce, still sustained around 40 miles per hour and gusting close to 60, 70 at times with some of these stronger gusts that come in. Again, a little bit sheltered because we're still getting some offshore winds, but we have seen them shift more out of the north and slowly starting to work their way out of the north and west. We will see that push of water come up. In fact, I was looking at the latest wind observation. I saw 104 mile per hour gust at a marker out over Sarasota Bay just a couple of hours ago. So we saw some pretty significant winds here. Venice also gusted to 100 miles per hour, and that's extreme winds. I think tomorrow is going to be interesting, getting a firsthand look around, because the city of Sarasota said until winds drop below 45 miles per hour, they're not able to get out and get a first look. They're not able to remove tree limbs. They're not able to remove debris off the road. So that's something that won't likely happen until the morning. So make sure you stay tuned to that. We want to head up to Central Florida. That's where we find meteorologist Alex Wilson. Alex, the worst is yet to come for you. How have things fared so far today in Orlando?
Chris, we've been in the tropical storm force conditions, so wind gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour. I know a lot of you are wondering what is headed our way, and the worst is yet to come here for parts of central and eastern sections of Florida. We remain under a tornado watch until 1 o'clock in the morning. It is all about the torrential rainfall. We're going to be looking at 8 to 12 plus inches. I think here in Orlando, we will easily exceed a foot of rainfall. So when you look at that footprint of rain, the 8 to 12 inches expands well outside this area. That would lead to widespread flooding. In terms of wind, we will see the strongest winds here, those hurricane force gusts during the morning hours tomorrow. So likely when you're waking up, that's when you're hearing the winds the strongest. Tropical storm force conditions will stick around throughout the day. And again, unfortunately, it will be all about the rain here in Orlando, parts of central, North Florida, eastern parts of the state. Stay off those roadways. They've already closed some of those flood-prone areas to keep people away from them. Another check at what's happening with our expert, Dr. Nab, coming up.
New Astapro Allergy, now available without a prescription. Astapro is the first and only 24-hour steroid-free spray. While other allergy sprays take hours, Astapro starts working in 30 minutes. So you can Astapro and go.
Whether you're looking to buy something on the small side or the medium side, or wow, that's really big, Zillow Home Loans can get you the mortgage you need so you can get the home you want. For financing made simple, there's no place like Zillow.
Your heart is the beat of life. If you have heart failure, entrust your heart to Entresto, a medicine specifically made for heart failure. Entresto is the #1 heart failure brand prescribed by cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Heart failure can change the structure of your heart, so it may not work as well. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. And just imagine where a healthier heart could take you. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure. And trust your heart to Entresto.
So?
The new iPhone 14 Pro. It's amazing.
Yep, the camera is incredible. And you'll get our best deal.
Nice, but everyone should get it.
Everyone can get it.
Every new customer.
And every existing customer.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Okay, my work here is done. Everyone gets the best deal on every iPhone.
Best one yet.
Everyone gets AT&T's best deals on every iPhone. You get the new iPhone 14 Pro on us.
Are you coming for my job?
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer. Uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Ooh, DQ chicken strip basket? I want in on that. House-made Hidden Valley Ranch, fries, Texas toast, and DQ chicken strips. Let's go now. Or let's get delivery at DQ.com.
Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser-drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. And now, get relief without a pill with Tylenol Dissolve Packs. Relief without the water.
Stay alert with all the action as we track Ian with the new and improved Weather Channel TV app. Go to streamtwc.com to start your free 7-day trial.
The legendary DR Trimmer Mower does it all. These machines are built to take a beating. DR gets the job done right.
Go online to drtrimmer.com to request your free product catalog. DR Trimmer mowers are now on sale and free shipping is in effect. Hurry, this offer won't last. That's drtrimmer.com.
Got something that's miles long and a mile wide.
After the flood, the house was gutted and the family pretty much lost everything.
We're building them a rockstar brand new kitchen and revamping the entire living room.
We only have less than a week to get this done, but I'm confident we can get it done. Come on in.
Oh my gosh! They nailed it.
Absolutely incredible.
I wasn't expecting this.
Fast Home Rescue, Saturday nights, 8/7 Central, only on the Weather Channel.
New video just into the Weather Channel from Bonita Springs, Florida. This is just south of Fort Myers, where you can see storm surge has been inundating streets and homes in this area. This spot has also been hit with some very powerful hurricane force winds. This obviously shot earlier today. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Ian. I'm meteorologist Jackie Jarris. We want to head out to the Sarasota area right now, where our Chris Bruin has been reporting live. You know, Bruin, this thing has been a major hurricane over land now for 5 hours, and the wind field on this thing, because of the size of the storms, just huge. So you guys are still getting pounded with some of those wind gusts in the 60, even 70 mile per hour range at times. What has it been like over the last couple of hours for you there?
Yeah, let me walk you through, because it's been a long day here in Sarasota and really all of the Florida Gulf Coast. We're in Lakewood Ranch, so we had to come inland a bit because our hotel got evacuated, obviously with the mandatory evacuations all along the water there, just out of precaution, given the forecast, right? And that could easily have been Sarasota, what we saw in Naples and Fort Myers. That wasn't the case. Surge was mostly a negative surge, the water being drawn out because of the offshore wind and because of the fact that we were north of the center, all right? But this morning, torrential downpours hitting the window, tropical storm force gusts right around sunrise, right? And that lasted and only got worse hour by hour. By the time we got into lunchtime, we were really dealing with sheets of rain, sustained tropical storm force winds, and then we were starting to get into those stronger gusts shortly after lunchtime. And all afternoon, we've been gusting 60, 70, 80, 6 miles per hour. That's the highest gust I saw officially at the airport in Sarasota. But I saw a measurement on Sarasota Bay at a marker out over the water of 104 miles per hour. So we've had some significant wind here in Sarasota and certainly south. You worked towards Venice and we had 100 mile per hour gusts, and then you had those strong gusts, some as high as 140 I saw near Cape Coral. All right, that's Cat 4 strength. And it's really, people have kind of been confined to where they're riding out the storm. So we don't have a good idea of just how widespread and how extensive the damage is. We've seen some of the video out of Naples and Bonita Beach and Sanibel and Fort Myers, just the extreme flooding from the storm surge. There's still high water in many of those spots, by the way. We have no idea how bad the wind damage is until we can start getting out. And even first responders can't do that. They can't really get a first-hand look until winds subside below 45 miles per hour. That's not happening anytime soon here in Sarasota, especially now it being dark. That's likely not going to take place until tomorrow morning. So please stay home tonight. Getting around is going to be hard. Navigating these roads, you're dealing with, first off, palm fronds. These things are massive. I'll step over this one. Look how tall these things are. And there are so many. There are probably over 100 lining the streets, and they've fallen all from these royal palms that are lining this beautiful streetscape here in Lakewood Ranch. But this is just one little spot. We've seen palm fronds lining the road. There's debris, branches down. We've seen large trees down too, from Bradenton into Sarasota and further south. So morning will show how widespread the damage is. I think it's worse than some people are thinking, but we also fared much better in the northern Gulf Coast, up here around Sarasota and Tampa, and even into St. Petersburg, where we find meteorologist Paul Goodlow. Paul, this has been a worst-case scenario. 2 days ago, we were thinking what we saw in Naples and Fort Myers was what we were going to see, say, Tampa Bay, Sarasota, St. Petersburg. We're still getting the wind. We're still getting, in fact, power outages. We're still taking down trees, but we haven't had the extensive flooding like we saw in Southwest Florida today. What are things like tonight in St. Petersburg?
they are still, in that hurricane force wind gust still coming through here, sustained winds, tropical storm force, and they've been getting stronger and stronger long after Ian actually made landfall well to the south of us. But the wind field around the center, we're talking 175 miles out in every direction. We have tropical storm force winds from that center. And even though the center is still going to, I think the closest pass might be between 60 and 70 miles, we're still getting those winds wrapping around here, mainly out of the northeast, but dealing with it all day long. Now the heavier rain is coming on through, but the all day long offshore winds have been taking a lot of the waters of the Tampa Bay and pushing them out in the Gulf. I'm not quite sure if you can see, you can definitely see some white caps here, but there's a lot more sand and rocks and beach. When I was out here yesterday, we were scouting this location at St. Pete Pier. There was easily maybe 6 to 9 more feet of water here. But eventually this water will come back, and we'll watch that as our wind shifts overnight and in through Thursday.
Hi, I'm Malak, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it has that kick. Not too spicy, but it's just enough for your taste buds to feel that level of heat. And you're like, ooh, this is good. It's the perfect amount of spicy.
Hi, I'm Capri, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. You can tell they actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce, marinated it. You're definitely getting a good grilled spicy sandwich.
What did I miss?
She took her first steps.
Can she do it again? I missed it. I stepped away from the bowl for 2 seconds.
There it is. Whoa. Back on top.
Whoa, what happened?
Oh, you missed that. Probably shouldn't have left.
Tostitos. Get to the good stuff. Ah, what a beautiful day to welcome you to your retirement with Physicians Mutual, including coverage for the gaps in Medicare.
Oh, I'm so happy I could just sing.
You've got that happy retirement feeling.
I've got that Physicians Mutual feeling. You helped me find the coverage I need.
So you can have the retirement you deserve.
I got a good feeling now that I'm covered.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
Get the new iPhone 14 Pro on us. Right now, T-Mobile is including Apple Business Essentials, so you can easily manage your team's devices. On the network with more 5G coverage. Only from T-Mobile for Business.
The 2022 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
When you have auto glass damage, let Safelite come to you. My customer enjoys time with her family. So when her windshield got a crack, she scheduled with Safelite in just a few clicks. We came to her house, replaced the windshield, and installed new wipers. That's service on her time.
Here you go.
Wow, thank you. Bye. Bye. Don't wait. Schedule now.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
It's so nice you guys could stop by.
Your floors are amazing. We really need new floors, but the kids and the dog.
These are waterproof and scratch resistant from LL Flooring.
But Gary's so tight with the budget.
It's actually a lot less than we thought.
This is nice.
It's time to love your floors. Lumber Liquidators is now LL Flooring, your expert from inspiration to installation. Right now, save 10% on waterproof floors.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Claritin provides non-drowsy symptom relief from over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens, day after day. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year with Claritin Clear.
Curiosity pushes you forward. It's what inspired Meiomi to create an unrivaled wine using the best from California to push flavor in new directions for a taste like no other. Meiomi, flavor forward.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel.
This is epic.
Trusted to be there where and when you need us. Trusted to work around the clock until every threat is over.
I want you to tell you how powerful the winds are.
Because America doesn't trust hurricane season to just anyone. Stay alert as we track Ian.
relentless. We've got hours of this to go here.
This storm, it gets stronger, it gets larger.
Still can't believe my eyes, the damage that we have seen today, especially over Southwest Florida. Fort Myers, Naples, Sanibel Island. I mean, we haven't even gotten the full scope of just how widespread the wind damage and the storm surge is, just because it was so dangerous to even get out. First responders had to evacuate. You saw the firehouse in Naples, and water is still high, even though it's peaked. Storm surge is slowly coming down, but still flooding numerous streets around Fort Myers, the Caloosahatchee River, right on down into Sanibel, Captiva, and of course, Naples still dealing with high water, even Marco Island. Now, north of there, we haven't had the surge. We are in Lakewood Ranch, that's just east of Sarasota, okay? And we've had easily 60, 70 mile per hour gusts over the last hour or so, and we're continuing to produce those high gusts. This is going to be kind of the gist as we go into late tonight and before things start to wind down. But even as we see our wind shift, they're coming out of the northwest at the moment. It's going to take some time, but we're going to see them continuing to pull around, and they'll come more onshore. That will push water back into Sarasota Bay. That will push water into low-lying areas, say along Siesta Key, Longboat Key, and then working your way south. We've had offshore wind this whole time, and that has kept the surge at actually a negative surge. So we haven't had any real coastal flooding or storm surge issues. That will change, although it will be minimal. We're not going to see the kind of surge that we saw to our south. It's just the luck of the draw because of the way the storm came in, and we're on the north side. So we will have a push of water coming in with that onshore push, but the winds aren't as strong now at this point in the game. And we'll talk about maybe a 2, 3, 4 foot storm surge generally, which should keep most buildings and businesses out of the water. Encouraging news there, but still, we're not out of the woods. We still have a long night ahead. A lot of power outages, although right where we are, power's on. And that's because a lot of the power lines here in Sarasota are underground, especially here in some of the newer communities like Lakewood Ranch. This was the area that was built out about 10, 15 years ago, and they were master planned for underground utilities. Easier to do when you start from scratch, Justin. So thankfully, we have power. I know you mentioned you lost power in Tampa. What are conditions like? Have you noticed the wind starting to pick up there?
Absolutely, Chris. In fact, the winds have gotten significantly worse than they have been throughout the course of the day as we've gone into this evening. And to your point about power infrastructure being underground, that was actually a big concern here in this part of Tampa, where they actually have had to deliberately turn power off here because we were really concerned about that storm surge threat 2 days ago. Could we have gotten 10 or 12 feet of storm surge, and would that have inundated the power system under the ground? With the saltwater inundation, that could have been catastrophic. So they were talking about turning power off preemptively. Luckily, they didn't have to do that. And as I look around at some of the high-rise apartments around here, hotels and whatnot, power seems to be on where we are, though I have seen the explosions off in the distance of the green and the purple and the blues that are either transformers or power lines coming down. We have had gusts over 60 miles per hour at TPA, Tampa International Airport. We have to believe that at least that's where it's going to stay, if not go up from there throughout the course of this evening, because like Chris and I were talking about, winds have certainly gotten stronger and are expected to get stronger throughout the course of the night. And remember, the story of Ian is long, long away from any conclusion. We've got a long way to go all across the center part of Florida, back out into the Atlantic, and then potentially back into the East Coast in the Carolinas. We have a long way to go with this storm. And of course, the Weather Channel will keep you up to date every step of the way. Something really amazing, while the storm was inundating south of here and hitting the southwest portion of Florida, here in Tampa, it was actually sucking water out of Tampa Bay, pushing it out with that offshore flow. Take a look at this video right here quickly before we go to break, and you can see a basically clean bed there in Tampa Bay. People being able to actually walk on the bed of Tampa Bay because the storm with that offshore flow, the wind actually pushed pushed that water out into the Gulf of Mexico. And it's only when the winds finally pass will that water be allowed to come back in again. The Weather Channel has full coverage of Ian all night long. Stay tuned. We're back after this.
Tim never leaves his wife's side. But since junk sleep gave him a crick in his neck,
who's there?
He can't turn his head to see her. Now he's convinced she's left him.
Michelle?
Only our Love Your Mattress guarantee gets you the lowest price and 120 nights to sleep on it.
You came back.
Unjunk your sleep at Mattress Firm.
Drop like confetti, time to start it up. Better get ready, it's about to bust.
Almost there.
It's getting better,
2 minutes completed. Burn calories.
It's getting better all the time. I think I'm gonna make it mine. Let's get together, yeah.
He can drink from my saucer anytime.
Where did he learn to slide like that?
I know where.
A promise is a trust not to be broken. Whether spoken with an oath or sealed with a pinky. USAA started with a promise to take care of the military community. And 100 years later, that's still our mission. Always.
Took a while to get up here. We started out around 1959.
Then we took a hard left in East Africa. A right at Baja. A 180 in the empty quarter. And that 65-degree incline at Hell's Revenge.
But we didn't do all that just to get here. We did it to give you a truck that'll take you anywhere. This is the new Nissan.
Dude, I'm in.
Because the only thing dripping should be your style. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, Winter Warriors with Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and flu relief.
Ooh, DQ chicken strip basket? I want in on that. House-made Hidden Valley Ranch, fries, Texas toast, and DQ chicken strips. Let's go now. Or let's get delivery at DQ.com.
Security, yeah. I want some security. I want security, yeah. Without it, I'm at a great loss. Yes, I am now. Oh.
Honey, what's Guy Fieri doing at the neighbor's house?
It's Slider Sunday! Everyone grab a King's Hawaiian slider!
Slider Sunday?
Slider Sunday! We got Philly cheesesteak sliders on King's Hawaiian slider buns.
Oh my.
And we've got cheeseburger sliders on King's Hawaiian pretzel slider buns. Slider Sunday! Everything's better between King's Hawaiian bread, especially now with King's Hawaiian pretzel buns.
Maybe next time use the gate. We can help get you guys back into the house.
Come on in.
Oh my gosh!
Fast Home Rescue, Saturday nights, 8/7 Central, only on the Weather Channel.
Tracking Hurricane Ian right now, a major hurricane with winds of 115 miles per hour. We're looking live at Punta Gorda, Florida, where you can see the wave action still quite extreme. We had wind gusts recorded here earlier today at 124 miles per hour. Our storm tracker, Charles Peak, is providing this shot for us right now live, and he is joining us. Charles, what is the latest condition there? I mean, it's tough to make out what we're looking at other than just seeing some crashing waves.
Yeah, Jackie, this is at the Lashy Park Marina, and this is actually Charlotte Bay. That earlier in the day, the marina, the boats that were in the marina were literally, it had sucked all the water out, and they were sitting in mud. right in front of me, what we're looking at right now, there was probably 20 feet of just mud right here. Now, with the winds reversing around, now you've got the onshore here coming in. It has come up, and there's a wall there that the waves, you probably can't make it out on the screen, but coming off of the bay, there's probably 8 to 10, maybe 12-foot waves and coming in and crashing against the walls here as this surge is coming up.
Are you seeing much for surge flooding getting inland a bit?
No, most everything I've seen I would still say is freshwater, but it looks like this is just getting up to this point in time. So if it continues, and I don't know if it will, but another 2 or 3 foot will put it over the wall and stuff here.
Yeah, you have more of a northwesterly wind right now. It'll become a little bit more westerly, and that could feed a little bit more water up your way here, I think, with time, Charles. Talk to me about the wind conditions. We know it was so extreme at 124 mile per hour gusts recorded there earlier today. What have you seen for damage?
I've seen earlier when I went out in the eye, I found a motel. The roof was ripped off of the motel. 4 of the rooms collapsed. Some of it collapsed on the people were actually in there when that happened. I did talk to the owner of the motel. He said one gentleman had some scratches on his arms, but that was really the only injuries that were there. So they were very fortunate. But that type of damage, lots of trees down, roof damage, that type of stuff. But needless to say, in the eye, I didn't have a ton of time to explore around. So, and then as this western eye wall came back in it, boy, I tell you, I'm not sure that the winds aren't stronger earlier when that hit us than they were at the beginning. And now they probably, I'm going to estimate probably 60, maybe 70 mile an hour winds at this point in time. So it's still very dangerous to be out where I'm at here. I don't have to deal with any blowing debris or anything. When you get back into town, the winds aren't quite as strong as they are coming across the bay.
Yes, Stephanie and Jim both were reporting that backside of that eye wall was certainly stronger for them, and they had to deal with that as well. What about power? Are you seeing any lights on around where you are?
No, everything that I've been seeing, power's out all around here and everything. As I was coming back, Cantori was asking me, because with the hotel we're staying at, he wanted me to check things out, see if it was safe for them to go there. But it's all dark, so it's going to be a powerless night.
Safety is so important right now, Charles. We know that you're doing everything that you can to stay safe as well. What is your plan going forward?
I'm going to continue to look at this. I want to get back and see if I can get on the marina side and see how the boats are doing. I will stay out as long as it's safe to do so and be able to continue to report for us. If I need to get back into the safety of the parking deck, I will definitely do that.
Okay, thanks so much. We appreciate you, Charles. Stay safe, and thank you for that report from Punta Gorda. I want to bring in our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, right now. Dr. Knabb, winds have been changing direction there. We've had a major hurricane on land now for 5+ hours, and this is going to take a while for this to continue to wind down and weaken.
Yeah, especially, Jackie, because it's so large. Larger systems have just so much momentum. It takes a long time for them to wind down. So the center of circulation here, well northeast of Punta Gorda, but where Charles is, he's getting that northwesterly to westerly flow that's producing the flooding and the splash over there on the east shores of the harbor. But we've got a very, very significant rain and wind event playing out in inland areas, including this flash flood emergency. The call to action here, when you've got a catastrophic rain-induced inland flood threat with community-wide flooding being the risk, is to seek higher ground. But you do not want to get in your vehicle and try to flee a flooding structure if that is what is happening. You want to sort of get up as high as you can. We've had 12 to 18 or 19 inches of rain. We could have another 3 or 6 inches more in the next few hours. We're getting more than 3 inches per hour in that zone. But east of there is where the strongest winds are, but there is some overlap. We still have our extreme wind warning, lowest dry level, most interior room is where you want to be. Our team of meteorologists and reporters will help guide you through Ian's Threats Ahead 24/7, both on air and on your preferred streaming devices.
More truck owners are switching to Ram, which means more fathers are switching to Ram.
Your body's changing.
And more sons, more tailgaters, more tail waggers, more men with a lot of confidence.
Easy.
And more with not so much.
Yeah, I'm not going to fit in there.
And more guys who check straps with a firm tug and say,
that ain't going anywhere,
are switching to Ram.
Don't miss your chance to get 0% financing for 72 months on our most popular models. Hurry, this offer ends October 3rd.
I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything for you, mean everything to me. I know that I'd go anywhere for your smile. Anywhere, yes, I'd do anything, 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 anything for you.
PetSmart. Anything for pets.
Dehydrated hair?
Hyaluronic acid for your hair.
New Elvive Hyaluron Plump by L'Oreal Paris. With hyaluronic acid to lock in moisture and hydrate for up to 72 hours. Elvive Hyaluron Plump from L'Oreal Paris.
We're worth it.
Girls Trip.
Wonderful time.
Get fast relief of your worst allergy symptoms, including nasal congestion, with powerful Claritin D, so you can breathe better, feel the clarity, and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Claritin D.
Your heart is the beat of life. If you have heart failure, entrust your heart to Entresto, a medicine specifically made for heart failure. Entresto is the #1 heart failure brand prescribed by cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Heart failure can change the structure of your heart, so it may not work as well. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. And just imagine where a healthier heart could take you. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure. And trust your heart to Entresto.
Can you believe this? Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas. You guys look great. Once I turn 40...
Let me guess. Less energy? Less drive?
Definitely. It's not your fault. It happens to every man. Testosterone levels drop as you age. Happened to you guys? Yep. So what did you do?
We got Nugenix Total T.
To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text MAGNET to 42424. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels.
That does it. I gotta get Nugenix. Just send a text for a complimentary bottle. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text MAGNET to 42424. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back in shape fast, absolutely free. That's MAGNET to 42424.
Welcome home. I wasn't expecting this.
My brother Paul created an organization that assists communities after natural disasters. Now my wife and I run the global response team.
Come on in. This is so amazing. Thank you all so much for coming in and doing this for us.
Fast Home Rescue, Saturday nights, 8, 7 Central, only on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back into our special coverage, of course, of Hurricane Ian, now having already made landfall, but still causing some big-time issues here in the state of Florida. Far-reaching, too, by the way. We're outside of Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, all right? We're here because it's too dangerous to be near the coast, all right? But I can tell you, we haven't seen storm surge in Sarasota. There hasn't been issues at Siesta Key, Longboat Key. A lot of people asking, what's it like there? It's windy. We've had hurricane-force winds all afternoon. So down trees, down power lines. There's a lot of power outages in the county, okay? And a lot of flooding just from rainfall. But we haven't had storm surge like we've seen to our south. That is what Ian will be remembered for. Just unprecedented storm surge in communities like Naples and Fort Myers and Bonita Beach and Sanibel Island, Captiva Island. Now getting some of that surge in Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda. Those are the concerning areas. We will not have those kind of situations at the coast here in Sarasota, all the way up to the north. Now, there will be some surge once we get our winds to come on shore, but we've had offshore winds this entire time. They've come from the east, they've come from the northeast, now they're coming more out of the north and northwest. So we're starting to see that shift around as Ian starts to work up. Winds still gusty. In fact, I'll pan up to the palm fronds here on the trees, and you can see they're slowly simmering down. I'm noticing the gusts not as strong as what they were, say, a few hours ago. But it's still going to be a noisy night ahead. Heavy rainfall, still a concern. We're under a flash flood warning here for Sarasota, parts of Manatee County. We've got that flash flood emergency for Venice, all the way back into Arcadia and Wauchula. Guys, they are getting creamed right now. And we really haven't seen any images or video out of those locations. Everybody's kind of confined to the coast. But this is a serious threat to inland central Florida, especially Orlando south. Looking at Sebring right now, Lake Wales, areas around Avon Park, Frostproof, Bartow, Wauchula, just getting hit very hard with the remaining core of winds, and then the extreme amount of rain that has already exceeded over a foot. Conditions continuing to deteriorate in St. Petersburg. You're getting tropical storm force wind gusts at times. Paul Goodlow, what's the latest there from St. Pete?
We're seeing sustained tropical storm winds all the time. We're much up to date here, Chris, and we're still getting kind of the so-called weaker side of the storm. Although one thing that has been increasing has been the intensity of the rain. We're getting between 0.2 to 0.4 an inch an hour. So the persistent rain bands, the heavy rain bands, keep creeping closer and closer through you in Sarasota, but into the St. Petersburg area, eventually on towards Tampa. And it's a very interesting storm here where especially the track of this storm, it is varied widely. And here in Pinellas County, we started our trip in Clearwater. And I know a lot of people there are so thankful that the center did not come on shore there like it was forecast to do a couple of days ago. But the National Hurricane Center has changed that forecast, and they're pretty much dead on when it came on well south of here. But with that south landfall, south of St. Petersburg and Tampa, we've been dealing with a persistent northeasterly wind, which even this evening has been gusting into and above hurricane force. Hurricane starts at 74 miles per hour. 77 mile per hour wind gusts reported at the airport. That's Albert Whitted Field, maybe about 600 yards off to my left here. That northeast wind has been pushing the bay waters of Tampa Bay out into the Gulf of Mexico. And you probably have seen pictures and video on social media of people actually walking out on usually wet ground. And you even see barnacles, and even boats have been kind of left high and dry in some of the mud and the sand around here because the bay waters have just evacuated the area. They're coming back, especially tomorrow when our winds shift from being offshore to neutral and then eventually onshore. And even with that tide, we could see perhaps a little tidal surge. So if people actually risk their lives today walking out there, you certainly do not want to do that tomorrow. We have that pushback of that water, and we have no clue how fast that water comes in. But when it comes in, it keeps on going. And this is a huge body of water. So we are also very thankful we didn't have that same surge like they did farther south in Punta Gorda and Fort Myers and Naples, a huge storm surge. And some are saying perhaps over a 10-foot storm surge there because this area is so vulnerable with all the water around all the homes. At least here in Pinellas County, 1 in 5 homes is within that Category 1 hurricane storm surge zone. And this was a Category 4 when it made landfall earlier today. We're not done with at least the rain and the wind with Ian. It will slowly improve as we head throughout the day on Thursday. We got coverage all day long here on the Weather Channel.
The older, the physically challenged, the last to be chosen. Shelter dogs with special needs face a far longer road to adoption. But Subaru knows even the toughest roads can lead to the most amazing places. That's why Subaru and our retailers created National Make a Dogs Day to help all underdogs find homes. Subaru, more than a car company.
Dish makes TV easy. Now with all of your favorite live TV and streaming apps, all in one place. All right, here we go. Discovery Plus. Because we know how much you appreciate having all you need, all in one place. Streaming and live TV all in one place. Dish, tuned in to you.
So?
The new iPhone 14 Pro. It's amazing.
Yep, the camera is incredible. And you'll get our best deal.
Nice, but everyone should get it.
Everyone can get it.
Every new customer.
And every existing customer.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Okay, my work here is done. Everyone gets the best deal on every iPhone.
Best one yet.
Everyone gets AT&T's best deals on every iPhone. Get the new iPhone 14 Pro on us.
Are you coming for my job?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Claritin provides non-drowsy symptom relief from over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens, day after day. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year with Claritin Clear.
Yo, my name is Luis, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the different flavors that are hitting your mouth at every millisecond. You get the explosion and the zestiness of the chicken, then that spice just kicks in, and if you had that cilantro lime, perfection.
Hi, this is Becky, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is that marinade, they make sure that it is on the entire piece of chicken and not just on top. The pepper, whatever else is secret in their marinade, it's amazing.
Discover TheraTears like no other dry eye drop in the world with the 5 vital electrolytes found in natural tears. TheraTears is one-of-a-kind hydration that feels like silk. TheraTears, a drop like no other.
At Olive Garden, sauce is the soul. It turns lasagna into a classico. It's what takes you on a tour of Italy and chicken and shrimp carbonara to the next level. Our amazing sauces made from scratch every day. And they all pair perfectly with our never-ending first course. That's always on us. Olive Garden, we're all family here.
It's time for a new kind of diamond. One that's made, not mined, and is as unique as you and me. The I love myself diamond. The I am unstoppable diamond. The I know I can make an impact diamond. The diamond for whoever you are and whoever you're going to be. Diamonds by Pandora. Exquisitely beautiful, lab-created diamonds.
Thanks for joining us tonight on a very, unfortunately, sad day across the Gulf Coast of Florida. Hurricane Ian making landfall near Cayo Costa. That's not far from Fort Myers, Pine Island, Port Charlotte. So you're kind of there on the Lee Island coast, okay? And now is working its way into Central Florida. Still wreaking havoc as it does so. This thing is still dangerous. High winds and a lot of rain. Taking a look at some of the latest rainfall totals we've seen in inland communities like Wauchula and now Sebring, dealing with some of those core winds and 2, 3, 4 inch per hour rainfall rates. It is extreme. You can look at it right there on the radar. Look at that swath of rainfall between Venice Inglewood, Northport, and then working right on into Mayaca River State Park. Of course, not a lot of people live in that part of Sarasota County. And then right on into Hardy County and DeSoto County. So Arcadia, Wauchula, Highway 17, and that will spread even further inland up into parts of Highlands County and Lake County. So extreme conditions there when it comes to rainfall. Don't underestimate the flash flood potential, which is going to be just extreme. The Peace River, some of these rivers like the Kissimmee River in Central Florida, and then working your way up into Orlando are going to spill well out of their banks because of the rainfall here. High winds as well. We're in Lakewood Ranch, all right? So we're outside of Sarasota, back near I-75. We had to come here. This was the only place we could find lodging, first of all, and we had to stay safe because the winds were howling all day long, guys, all day long. We were able to get to the bay earlier this morning, and the bay was draining out. I mean, a lot of the bottom of the bay was exposed. Like we saw in Tampa Bay, that was the case here in Sarasota. We had that offshore wind, and we've been in that all day. We've seen more of a shift now out of the north, so we're starting to see those winds wrap around, and they'll continue to do that as Ian pushes off towards Central Florida and then get into the northeast part of the state. Once they come back on shore, we'll fill back up the bays. Tampa Bay will fill back up. We'll even get a little bit of storm surge. There's a lot of force with this, right? But it will be nothing like what we saw south of Port Charlotte. Fort Myers, Naples, guys, the damage there I've seen is just truly heartbreaking. I'm from Naples. I know the spots that were flooded. I'm seeing people's homes video water rushing and filling up the stairs. I mean, people are literally having to swim out of their homes in some cases. It is absolutely terrifying. I mean, even law enforcement, emergency, we saw the firehouse in Naples having to get evacuated because of the surge, which was so extensive and just unprecedented, way higher than what we saw in Irma, way higher than what we saw in Wilma back in 2005. Because of where exactly Ian came in, we were on that surge-prone side, that southeast side of the center. Very problematic here. Worst case scenario was avoided in Sarasota northward, so we're thankful, right? Because that could have been Tampa Bay easily. But worst case scenario really panned out in Fort Myers, Sanibel Island, Captiva Island. Of course, those areas were hard hit by Charlie. Punta Gorda seeing that as well. So winds are starting to simmer down a little bit towards the coastal areas, which is good. Things are quieting down in Naples. It takes time for that surge to pull out, though. So we're still seeing high water even into Fort Myers, still getting that onshore push. It's going to take several hours before things start to slow down. Let's take a look at our storm tracker, Charles Peak. He is in Punta Gorda, and they've been dealing with the core of the winds for hours now. That backside's so much stronger than that front side, mostly due to the fact we get that onshore wind on that front side. Charles, we're looking at your shot. We're seeing, first off, wild winds still a lot of wind action, and we're looking at Charlotte Harbor, all right? And you're looking at the mouthwaters there of the Peace River. Look at the waves. I mean, they are crashing, and look at how they're getting blown in. What are you seeing? I don't know how long you've been in this one particular spot, Charles, but have you noticed the water coming up over the course of the last 2 hours?
Chris, I was here earlier in the day when it had sucked all the water out of this area. What you're looking at right now would have been mud, and the boats in the marina that are behind me were all sitting in mud. But then it started coming back during the eye. I came over here and checked it out, and water was starting to come in a little there. But Chris, here in this area, it's been honestly unsafe to be able to get out until the last, say, 30 minutes or so. And it's still pretty treacherous conditions, but it's safe enough to come over here and check this out. And so probably in 30 minutes, the water level has come up. It's about, I would say, a foot and a half below the top of the wall. But needless to say, you've got waves coming across that are, I would say, 8 to 10 foot as best I can see. It's obviously dark, but I've got some lights on my vehicle. But then those waves are crashing, and sometimes crashing 15, 20 foot in the air here.
You know, Charles, I don't know if you had a chance to see some of the devastation south of you in Fort Myers, in Lee County, and down into Collier County. Have you seen that type of flooding, or do you expect that type of storm surge flooding in Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte, or do you think it'll be much less?
It appears, Chris, Chris, at this point in time that it will be less. There hasn't been much surge flooding around the areas that I've seen. It's been mostly freshwater flooding. Me and Jim Cantori were just talking about it about 15 minutes ago, trying to figure out, how much higher is this going to come from here? It obviously is coming in. The winds are blowing it in, but, is it a few more feet, or are we looking at 5 or 10 feet? And I honestly don't know the answer to that at this point in time. You would think it will start slowing down here over the next couple hours. It may not have enough to build it as much as we were fearing earlier.
Okay, so I know it's night now. We're kind of limited, and you guys didn't get a chance to travel a lot this afternoon because conditions were so bad. But just from where you were witnessing the worst of the winds in Punta Gorda, how much wind damage did you notice? Did you notice a lot of structural damage? Obviously, there's going to be trees down. There were high winds. We have power outages, the norm, right? But I know that area was heavily damaged in Hurricane Charlie. A lot of the city has just been totally rebuilt. Do you think they're going to fare better than they did with Charlie?
Chris, I think so. I mean, needless to say, I've seen it where you have the good building codes and they've been rebuilt. They were withstanding it pretty well. I mean, you had signs down, some roofs off, sheet metal gone, those types of things. I did a little south when I went out during the eye of the storm, come across a motel that had a roof completely ripped off of 4 of the rooms with people in it, and it crashed down on some of them. One just amazingly just had minor injuries there, according to the owner of the motel. It's just one that had a gash on his arm. But I saw that lots of damage. I think when we get out and see tomorrow, the newer, better built buildings are probably going to have withstood pretty well, but I still think there's going to be a considerable amount of damage. We had a wind gust at, I want to say 140 on the front edge, with the eastern eye wall. And as we have all sort of felt like the western edge, when it hit, was even stronger than that. So I don't know exactly what our wind speeds are, but, I think when we get daylight, we're going to find it's still pretty bad here, Chris.
And I take it that most of you guys don't have power. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. As I drove by our hotel to come over here, it's completely black. So, of course, no, that's not what you want. But as you know, all of us, we sort of expect that and plan for that.
Yeah, we're getting the latest totals now. 1.8 million without power here across the state of Florida. That number's only going to climb. You got to think that the core is still, intense and is rapidly pushing through central Florida, approaching Sebring and areas south of Interstate 4 that's headed to Orlando. I got to imagine that number is going to skyrocket as we go into the overnight hours and then early tomorrow morning. Charles, something I want to. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, I'm afraid this is definitely not going to be a day or two to get the power back and restored. This is going to be an extended outage situation, I'm afraid.
Yeah. And one thing, this is interesting as cities kind of rebuild after this and new cities are formed. A lot of people are moving to Florida. Lakewood Ranch, that's where we are. This was developed about 10, 15 years ago. Notice we've got power and we've had some high winds. The highest gusts officially at Sarasota International, 86 miles per hour. We've had gusts on Sarasota Bay up to 104 miles per hour. There's a lot of power outages around Sarasota, but here in Lakewood Ranch, we've got power. We haven't even seen a flicker with the lights because they buried the lines underground and they were able to do that in advance of building up all of this development. So that's super helpful and mindful to think about as cities kind of rebuild and as new cities kind of develop here in a booming Sunshine State. A lot of people want to live here. It's paradise, right? Except in situations like this. All right, so we got lights. I know a lot of power is out farther north too, where we've had sustained tropical storm wind gusts and even strong tropical storm wind gusts, borderline hurricane gusts up towards Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg. about an hour to our north, not even, about 35, 45 minutes over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. That's where we find meteorologist Paul Goodlow. Paul, you're on the bay, I take it, in Sarasota, Tampa Bay. What are conditions like? You getting a lot of rain, a lot of wind?
A lot of rain, a lot of wind, and what's left of the bay is behind me. A lot has been pushed out all day long with these persistent and strong offshore winds from the northeast. It's dropped the bay some 5 to over 10 feet, depending on what part of the bay you're in. That water has been pushed out towards the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to come back tomorrow, so people who have been venturing out there, it's not a safe thing to do. You know, I think to my high school years, Shakespeare wrote, "Beware the Ides of March." I say we need to beware of the I-named storms. Yet another I-named storm, Ian, most likely will be retired because of the destruction and damage, which is still yet to be discovered, but no doubt will be another most likely billion-dollar disaster. That's just over a year after Hurricane Ida last year in Louisiana, New Orleans, caused billions of dollars of damage and deaths from Louisiana into the Northeast. And as well as, 5 years before that, we had Hurricane Irma, which also did the same thing to Tampa Bay, pushed that water out and came in again south of here and spared the Tampa Bay area, metro area, of a lot of destruction. If you look back to just the turn of this century, since 2001, we've had 11 of the I-named storms, hurricanes, retired, those names. And most likely, Ian will be the 12th. We're definitely, about maybe 6 hours after landfall? I should say the first landfall here in the U.S. There was a second on the mainland of Florida. There'll be perhaps a third somewhere along the Georgia or South Carolina coast as we head in towards Friday. So no doubt this system, we have yet to even kind of peel the dust off of how much damage and destruction it has caused. And hopefully we won't have a high death toll with this. But Chris, it's amazing. The only good news to report here is the winds. We've had sustained winds in that tropical storm force, 39 or above, since 8 o'clock this morning. This last observation, it's dropped to 35. That's the sustained winds, but gusting still well in the 50 and 60 mile per hour range, Chris. So there's been a little bit of improvement. We have a lot more rain to get through as we had overnight and then tapering off into Thursday. Chris?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. You know, we've had about 8 to 10 inches of rain here in East Sarasota Lakewood Ranch. South of here, we've had totals as high as 14, 15 inches. And I'm very concerned on what's happening just to our east. You go over a county over into Hardy County, and then you get over to Highlands County. You're dealing with those rainfall rates that are exceeding 3-4 inches per hour. Carl, the core of this storm is still intact and still is potent, although starting to weaken as it pushes further inland. Some of these inland communities that were hard hit by Charlie are now getting an extreme wind warning, high winds probably exceeding 100 miles per hour, and also flash flooding on the order of flash flood emergencies. Very concerning trend what's happening here south of Orlando tonight in cities like Wauchula, Arcadia, and now Sebring and Avon Park.
So we're getting a report from that area of 12 to 19 inches of rain that has fallen already. That is an unbelievable amount of rain. And let's take a look at the latest on the storm right now. 105 mile per hour Category 2 storm. It is moving to the northeast at 8 miles per hour. So still packing a lot of punch as it moves up through the central part of the state. Now here in that pink coloring, that is the flash flood emergency that is now in effect. This is where we have seen 12 to 19 inches of rain. Wauchula and Arcadia is still really coming down here. So a catastrophic flash flood threat in this area. Also a new flash flood warning in effect for Hardy, Highlands, and Polk counties, where we have seen 4 to 10 inches of rain thus far. There you see 12 inches being reported in the last 6 hours. But again, it's been a lot more than that when you look at the totality of the event. This is going to be coming up through the central and northeast part of the state over the next several hours. And that's going to mean very heavy rain in the Orlando area and then coming up towards Daytona Beach and towards Titusville and St. Augustine. There you see one of our model forecasts indicating as much as 1 foot to 2 feet of rain from Orlando and on eastward. So we're looking at, again, a significant flash flood threat that is going to continue through tomorrow morning and into tomorrow as well in the northeast northeastern part of the state. Still a lot of wind around, still blowing the water into the coastline there in Fort Myers. We've still got a water level rise of 6 feet, and the storm surge warnings continue to be in effect here. We'll have much more in the storm coming up in a few minutes.
Camille, Ivan, Katrina, Sally, Zeta. Seen a lot of storms. You have all this beauty and tranquility. The storms come in and they change everything.
You guys are doing a great job. I really appreciate everything that y'all are doing.
When it shows up on your doorstep, our role is to respond quickly, to provide a way forward. A recovery is day by day. We want to be the calm after the storm.
This is how it feels to do more with less asthma, thanks to Dupixent. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problems. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma and can help improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks and can even reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Imagine that. Dupixent can cause allergic reactions that can be severe. Get help right away if you have rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor about new or worsening joint aches and pain or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Who knows what you can do when you do more with less asthma? Ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
I earned 3% cash back at drugstores with Chase Freedom Unlimited. So I got cards for birthdays, holidays, graduations. I'm covered for everything. Which reminds me, thank you for driving me to the drugstore. Earn big time with Chase Freedom Unlimited with no annual fee. How do you cash back? Chase, make more of what's yours.
I brought in Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein. Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and now with 2 new flavors.
The new iPhone 14 Pro is here. And right now, business owners can get it on us at T-Mobile. Apple Business Essentials with Apple Care Plus is included, so you can easily manage your team's devices here and here. All on the network with more 5G coverage. It's the ultimate business trifecta with the new iPhone 14 Pro on us. Only from T-Mobile for Business.
Honey, what's Guy Fieri doing at the neighbor's house?
It's Slider Sunday! Everyone grab a King's Hawaiian slider!
Slider Sunday?
Slider Sunday! We got Philly cheesesteak sliders on King's Hawaiian slider buns.
Oh my.
And we've got cheeseburger sliders on King's Hawaiian pretzel slider buns. Slider Sunday! Everything's better between King's Hawaiian bread, especially now with King's Hawaiian pretzel buns.
Maybe next time use the gate. Stay alert with all the action as we track Ian with the new and improved Weather Channel TV app. Go to streamtwc.com to start your free 7-day trial.
Can you believe this? Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas. You guys look great. Once I turn 40.
Let me guess. Less energy? Less drive?
Definitely.
It's not your fault. It happens to every man. Testosterone levels drop as you age.
Happened to you guys?
Yep.
So what did you do?
We got Nugenix Total T.
To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text BUZZ to 321321. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels.
That does it. I gotta get Nugenix. Just send a text for a complimentary bottle. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text BUZZ to 321321. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back in shape fast, absolutely free. That's BUZZ to 321321.
Stronger winds, stronger surge, and stronger storms makes a stronger hurricane season. You know what else is getting stronger? The #1 most trusted TV news network, the Weather Channel. Now available for anyone to stream on the new and improved TV app.
This is just the beginning.
Stay alert with all the action as we track Ian. Trust the strength in numbers. The Weather Channel, available on these platforms. Go to streamtwc.com to start your free 7-day trial.
Welcome back into the Weather Channel's continuing live coverage here as we track Hurricane Ian now pushing through central Florida and really causing big issues. We'll get to those, but we're still seeing major issues with storm surge across southwest Florida. Man, the worst was spared here, though, in Sarasota and points northward, Bradenton. If you're concerned about Siesta Key, some of the barrier islands like Longboat Key, we haven't had any storm surge yet because it's been offshore wind the entire time. In fact, the bays have drained out. We will have a little bit of water level rise when we get our winds to shift around as it pushes further north and east, but it'll be minimal, and we definitely dodge a bullet as far as storm surge flooding goes. But wind damage will be extensive as we gusted to 86 miles per hour officially at the Sarasota International Airport. Here in Lakewood Ranch, winds are still gusting over tropical storm force and will continue to do so as we get into the late night hours tonight and early tomorrow morning. We're in Sarasota County. Let's head a county south. I want to bring in Brian Gleason. He's with Charlotte County. And first off, Brian, thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel. Can you update us on the current situation there in and around Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, Rotunda, Boca Grande? What are we dealing with at the moment?
Right now, we're still getting above tropical storm force winds, steady from the backside of Hurricane Ian. And we are still getting quite a bit of rain and not so much the surge. Just like you guys up there in Sarasota and Manatee, we don't have reports of widespread surge flooding like in North Naples and Fort Myers, and we hope that trend continues. We've been getting inundated with rain. We don't know the rainfall totals yet because we've lost power, and that feeds all of our meters. And so once we get those powered back up, we'll have a better sense of what kind of rainfall fell in localized areas of the county. But as you said, catastrophic damage to structures, trees. There's going to be power poles down. We've been without power for tens of thousands of people for the most part of the day. So we're just going to take a deep breath and ride out the rest of this and see what comes out on the other side.
Do you happen to know of any issues as far as rescues or people needing to get to safe ground? Have you had any word on that in and around Charlotte County?
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and we have not gotten those. As you know, with the lockdown of emergency services, we wouldn't be able to respond to those things because the tropical storm force winds are in place, sustained. So all emergency services are shut down. But I'm not aware of any reports of even having those sort of high water rescue type of scenarios that you're describing. Other counties might, maybe south of us, maybe in DeSoto or Hardy along the rivers. But our rivers don't really tend to crest. The Peace River in the lower Peace doesn't really flood its banks because it's got so much of the harbor it can spill into.
All right, encouraging news there. As far as shelters go, are they all intact and in good shape for people who are riding out the storm in the county shelters?
All of our shelters are still occupied, and they'll be opened up for folks to go back to their homes once the tropical storm force winds go below sustained level. People may want to stick around a little bit longer. 38 is still pretty strong. It's just a number, but when we get below 39 sustained, then we let people go home, and then we get our people to work doing the initial push of debris off of the road so that emergency services and electrical and utility contractors can get out and get the lights back on and make sure the water's flowing.
All right, so tonight's going to be just kind of let it play out, and then in the morning, I take it as winds start to calm down, crews will be able to get out there and kind of assess. What advice do you have for residents and visitors who have left the area, and what would you say to them?
Don't come back tonight and play it by ear tomorrow, because there's some reports that dropping off of the tropical storm force winds won't happen until later in the morning. We've been told 8 o'clock by our friends at the National Weather Service, and so we're kind of pinning our hopes being able to get back to work at 8 o'clock tomorrow, but it could be later. So, ask around, find some friends or acquaintances to give you an assessment of what you might find when you get home. But I wouldn't be running home to check your home if you don't know what the dangers that are still here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the updates, and for more continuing coverage, stay right here on the Weather Channel.
Your heart is the beat of life. If you have heart failure, entrust your heart to Entresto. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. And don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
What's up, man? We need to talk about that lucky jersey.
Haven't washed it in years.
Multiple years?
I don't see any stains. It's lucky.
It's dirty.
Lucky.
Dirty.
Lucky.
Dirty.
Dirty.
Lucky.
Ha! Maybe lucky?
No. Dirty. You know what to do.
Good luck out there.
Bro, no, listen. It's dirtier than it looks. It's got to be Tide Hygienic Clean. Now get $15 back when you spend $45 on Tide and Downy.
Dehydrated hair? Hyaluronic acid for your hair. New Elvive Hyaluron Plump by L'Oreal Paris. With hyaluronic acid to lock in moisture and hydrate for up to 72 hours. Elvive Hyaluron Plump from L'Oreal Paris. We're worth it.
At Duracell, we're obsessed with bringing a better battery to life. New Duracell with Power Boost ingredients helps this headlamp shine at its brightest for longer. And the longer this headlamp shines, the more interesting your stories become.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Claritin provides non-drowsy symptom relief from over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens, day after day. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year with Claritin Clear.
Does it get better than never getting lost? Does it get better than not parallel parking yourself?
Alexa, ask SmartFeed to feed the dog.
Does it get better than feeding your dog from 50 miles away? Yes, it does. At Buick, we see a future that's even better. Because the life-enhancing innovations you've never even dreamed of, Buick is dreaming of them every day.
Hi, I'm Malak, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is it has that kick. Not too spicy, but it's just enough for your taste buds to feel that level of heat. And you're like, ooh, this is good. It's the perfect amount of spicy.
Hi, I'm Capri, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe is the chicken. You can tell they actually put it on the grill, cooked it in the sauce, marinated it. You're definitely getting a good grilled spicy sandwich.
Oh my God! Oh my gosh! Oh my, this is such a wonderful moment. I don't mean to get in the middle of it.
Oh, but you are in the middle of it.
I am in the middle of it because I want you to see where you are. You're in Illinois. Look around, you're in the middle of everything. And you're getting married! Yeah. Oh.
Illinois, the middle of everything.
And you may now kiss your bride right in the middle of her face.
Discover Theratears, like no other dry eye drop in the world, with the 5 vital electrolytes found in natural tears. Theratears is one-of-a-kind hydration that feels like silk. Theratears, a drop like no other.
Welcome home!
I wasn't expecting this.
My brother Paul created an organization that assists communities after natural disasters. Now my wife and I run the global response team.
Come on in. This is so amazing. Thank you all so much for coming in and doing this for us.
Fast Home Rescue, Saturday nights, 8, 7 Central, only on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to our live coverage of Hurricane Ian, and you're looking at live pictures from Punta Gorda. This is from our storm tracker, Charles Peak, and you can see there's still a terrific amount of wind there. Winds gusting as high as 135 miles per hour in Punta Gorda earlier today, and they are still fierce on the backside of what is now a Category 2 storm. Still seeing elevated water there, and as you can see, a lot of sea spray as well right along the coast. It has been a devastating day in terms of surge and wind in southwest and west central Florida. Also want to show you some other video here. This is blinding rain and storm surge taking over in Fort Myers, Florida. And, you know, this is a very apt description of why we say hide from the wind, but run from the water. There is so much power, so much force in that water. A cubic yard of water weighs about 1,700 pounds. So you can only imagine the weight and the power of that wall of water coming in. And we saw just terrific devastation today in Southwest Florida. Our hearts going out to all of the people of that region. It's been an awful, awful day. And we knew going in that this is one of the most surge vulnerable sections of coastline in the entire country and indeed around the world. Also want to show you some video showing the surge rising. This is time lapse showing that surge coming in beautiful Sanibel Island in Florida, and it can happen very fast. This is a very large storm, produced a wall of water, and that really didn't let up for hours and hours and hours. So I'm sure that the flood damage there in Fort Myers and Sanibel and Captiva, surrounding areas, Cape Coral, is going to be just devastating. We're going to be talking about, many, many hundreds of millions of dollars, if not $1 billion in losses. And another video from Cape Coral. So this is just across the river from Fort Myers. And here you see the water driving in there. And this was the worry all along, that we would see this devastating surge. And that's precisely what happened through the course of the day today. So let's give you the latest on the storm. Right now, it is a 105 mile per hour Category 2 storm and moving to the northeast at 8 miles per hour. There is now a flash flood emergency in effect. And in this area, DeSoto, Hardee, Manatee counties, a catastrophic threat, 12 to 19 inches of rain has already fallen. And as you can see, it's not really letting up here. So Wauchula, Arcadia, those areas near Sebring, we're talking about a really significant flash flood threat. Also a new flash flood warning in effect for Hardee Highlands and Polk County's considerable threat there. 4 to 10 inches of rain has come down there. Now here is the model forecast. I want you to pay attention to Orlando there, and very heavy rain is going to be coming in over the next several hours. That'll go through much of the night tonight, finally begin to taper off towards morning, but still be coming down strong along the northeast coast of Florida. So we're talking about additionally a foot to a foot and a half to 2 feet of rain from Orlando into the northeast part of the state. So a significant flash flood threat continues through tonight and into tomorrow morning along that I-4 corridor and farther north. The wind was just fierce today in many areas. Again, gusting to 135 in Punta Gorda. Right now, we've got gusts to 59 miles per hour in Orlando, gusting to 60 miles per hour in Sarasota. And we want to go now to Punta Gorda and to Charles Peak. And we are looking at some of the damage there. And it looks like, maybe the floodwaters have started to recede in this area. And you can see that there is no power. There's signs down. This is where we saw winds gusting over 130 miles per hour today. So just such a damaging storm across much of the southwest part of the state. And it's not over yet. We want to go to Chris Warren, who is in Jacksonville. And Chris, of course, after storms have come into Florida and moved up into the northern part of the state, we've had terrific flood events in the past, including with Irma. That could happen again in this case.
In fact, Carl, that's exactly what the National Weather Service here in Jacksonville has been talking about for the inland flooding. This is the St. Johns River right here and some of the estuaries. They're saying, think about Irma, and that's the kind of flooding that could happen. For coastal areas, they're saying, think about Matthew. And that, of course, was in 2016. And we're looking at maybe 4 to 7 feet. Could see some dune overwash at the coastal areas. And again, here, some flooding as well. 3 to 6 feet, also a possibility. And of course, that very heavy rain going to lead to some flash flooding, urbanized areas. Water could get into homes once again. So if you flooded with Irma, you flooded with Matthew, be ready. This could be a similar story, and the winds are going to pick up. The rain's going to really start raging tomorrow. It's looking like a pretty nasty day, but we are looking ahead to the weekend here on the Weather Channel. Stay with us.
Look at this, though. See somebody step this game up, huh?
Game over. Made for grand entrances. The Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Enjoy.
Ooh, Tostitos.
Can you grab the baby gifts? Yeah.
Walk to mommy.
What did I miss? She took her first steps.
Can she do it again?
Her first steps?
For me?
I missed it. I stepped away from the bowl for 2 seconds. I was supposed to read a poem.
We're good.
Okay, I'm telling you, it's her sister.
And you call yourself my sister.
There it is. There it is.
Whoa, back on top.
Whoa, what happened?
Oh, you missed that. Probably shouldn't have left.
Tostitos. Get to the good stuff.
This is not a drill. For a limited time at Domino's, get 20% off everything at menu price when you order online. Pizza, 20% off. Specialty pizza, 20% off. Anything that's not pizza? Yep, you know the drill. Except it's not a drill. It's 20% off everything. Only at Domino's.
Curiosity pushes you forward. It's what inspired Naomi to create an unrivaled wine using the best from California to push flavor in new directions for a taste like no other. Naomi, flavor forward.
More truck owners are switching to Ram, which means more fathers are switching to Ram.
Your body's changing.
And more sons, more tailgaters, more tail waggers, more men with a lot of confidence.
Easy.
And more with not so much.
Yeah, I'm not going to fit in there.
And more guys who check straps with a firm tug and say,
that ain't going anywhere,
are switching to Ram.
Don't miss your chance to get 0% financing for 72 months on our most popular models. Hurry, this offer ends October 3rd.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it disrupts my skin with itch. It disrupts my skin with rash. But now I can disrupt eczema with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is not a steroid, topical, or injection. It's one pill once a day that's effective without topical steroids. Many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin, while some saw up to 100% clear skin. Plus, they felt fast itch relief, some as early as 2 days. That's Rinvoq relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer. Death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your doctor about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
We have to tell everyone that we just switched to Verizon's new Welcome Unlimited plan for just $30.
I've already told everyone.
Wait, did you say Verizon for just $30?
It's their best unlimited price ever.
$30? That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's from the most reliable 5G network in America.
For $30 a line, I'm switching now.
Yeah, it's easy. And you get $960 when you switch the whole family.
Wow, I gotta let my buddies know.
We're already here.
The network you want, the price you love, only from Verizon.
It's a fact. No other news network out there is trusted more than the Weather Channel. You can't stop a force of nature. Stay alert with all the action as we track Ian.
Welcome back into the Weather Channel tonight on a heartbreaking day here across the Sunshine State, especially with Ian making landfall. The storm surge has been unprecedented to our south, especially in communities like Naples and Bonita Beach and Sanibel, Captiva, which we don't even know the full extent of the damage there, Boca Grande, and also into Fort Myers and Cape Coral. Here, Sarasota, Bradenton, we're in Lakewood Ranch, where we've had some high winds over hurricane strength, the highest gust 86 miles per hour just a few hours ago. Still getting those tropical storm force winds. And last check, the airport was gusting to 60 miles per hour. But we're slowly bringing those down as we're seeing Ian now push off to the north and east. We are getting that shift to the onshore flow. That'll happen overnight, and we will see some water rise at the coast, okay? But it'll be minimal. We're going to fill back the bays, and we're talking maybe a 1 to 3 foot storm surge. Nothing that's going to cause significant damage, but may close some roads. So don't think about heading back in the morning. Wait at least until crews can get out and remove. There's lots of debris, and they're not getting out tonight to do any of that. So wait it out, especially if you evacuated. I get it. You want to just stay the least amount of time away from your home. Give them some time to open things back up, and then you can head back home and get back to business. Winds are still gusty here, all right? But they're even worse south of here in Punta Gorda. That's where we find Storm Tracker Charles Peak. Charles, let's bring up your shot. I want to show everybody what we're looking at. I'm curious to see it myself because you guys are still getting hammered by heavy rain and strong winds. What are we looking at? Obviously, power's out. And where are you at in Punta Gorda?
Chris, I'm real close to Lashy Park, where I was in the downtown area here of Punta Gorda. And this road here that I'm looking at and on is probably got maybe 8-10 inches of water over it. You can barely see the yellow lines below it. We still got strong winds, heavy rain. Just on the other road I went, it's blocked with a sign that's come down and onto the road and stuff, not safe to go through. So those are the types of situations we're dealing with here in Punta Gorda right now, Chris.
Now, when I see the flooding that's taking place there on that street near downtown, is that storm surge flooding or is that flooding from all the rain?
Chris, being this close to the water, it's a little hard to definitively say which one it is. This road, I do know earlier, we already had some flooding on it from freshwater rain. And I know, obviously, we've had copious amounts of rain over the last several hours. So that would be my guess, but I can't say definitively that there's not a surge component to it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both, too, you know. Certainly a possibility you are getting some of that push a little bit more from the west, which may push some water there into Charlotte Harbor. How strong would you say winds are at the moment?
I would say right now they're probably in the 40 to 50 range, but we're still getting some pretty good gusts occasionally that I would say are over 60.
Yeah, it looks like it. And the rainfall total are just unbelievable. So obviously it's dark outside, hard to really get your bearings straight on what's going on, the big scheme of things. Do you feel like a lot of people have left Punta Gorda?
At least they weren't around. There wasn't a lot of people out today. Chris, I'll give you an example here, which, being out there, Waffle House never closes. And here, Waffle House was closed and actually boarded up. So I do think they took it seriously here. And so in that respect, I feel like, but like I say, I told you about an hour ago, that motel that got hit, all the people were still, that was not a well-built structure. But many of them, I guess, just felt they didn't have any other place to go. So, I think it's going to be a mixture of both. But overall, I think they took it seriously here.
Well, we're getting reports, Charles, that nearly all of Charlotte County, Florida, without power tonight, 99% of customers in the dark. Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does. I know I had somebody reach out to me that is a hospital transport, and supposedly over in Port Charlotte, we had one of the hospitals there with substantial roof damage and having to transport patients out there too. So, again, I feel like when we see first light tomorrow and things are a little more visible, we may find that Ian definitely left its mark on the state of Florida and still going as we speak tonight.
Yes, certainly is. Thanks so much, Charles Peak. We'll check back in to see how things unfold there tonight in Punta Gorda. Still much better than what we were seeing with a few hours ago. Here in Lakewood Ranch, I'm going to have Marshall kind of pan up to the palm trees because we're still getting some persistent winds near tropical storm force, gusts upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour. You may be wondering why we have power here. Over 220,000 customers in Sarasota County alone are in the dark tonight. But here in Lakewood Ranch, the power lines are underground, and that has certainly kept the lights on, even in some of the intense winds that we've dealt with.
This is a glimpse into the not-too-distant future of Lincoln. It's what Sanctuary could look like, feel like, sound like, even smell like. More on that soon. The best part? The prequel is pretty sweet, too.
Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. And by switching, you could even save $652. Thank you, Liberty Mutual. Now, contestants ready? Go! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discover TheraTears, like no other dry eye drop in the world, with the 5 vital electrolytes found in natural tears. TheraTears is one-of-a-kind hydration that feels like silk. TheraTears, a drop like no other.
So?
The new iPhone 14 Pro. It's amazing.
Yep, the camera is incredible. And you'll get our best deal.
Nice, but everyone should get it.
Everyone can get it.
Every new customer.
And every existing customer.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Every iPhone.
Okay, my work here is done. Everyone gets the best deal on every iPhone.
Best one yet.
Everyone gets AT&T's best deals on every iPhone. Get the new iPhone 14 Pro on us.
Are you coming for my job?
He can drink from my saucer anytime.
Where did he learn to slide like that?
I know where.
At Olive Garden, sauce is the soul. It turns lasagna into a classico. It's what takes you on a tour of Italy and chicken and shrimp carbonara to the next level. Our amazing sauces made from scratch every day. And they all pair perfectly with our never-ending first course. That's always on us. Olive Garden, we're all family here.
Clean up your lawn and garden the smart way with a DR Chipper Shredder. Reduce leaves, garden cuttings, sticks, and twigs, even big branches, to a fraction of their original volume. There's